story begins on May 18, 1980, when Washington's Mount St. Helens, one of the most beautiful peaks in the Cascade Range, exploded in a catastrophic explosion, killing dozens of people and thousands of animals and raining destructive rocks, ash and debris across the region. After the eruption, a thick flow of ash, mud and fallen trees choked the rivers and streams. What was once lush green healthy forest was smothered in ash. The US Army Corps of Engineers and the National Guard were called upon to help the rescue and recovery operations, while the hard-working men and women from these organisations worked to recover the bodies of deer, elk, bears and other animals. It is said that they also came across the bodies of 2 Bigfoot. These bodies were set aside, covered with tarps and guarded by armed men, and witnesses were warned to keep quiet about the situation. Not all Bigfoot found on Mount St. Helens were dead. One witness states that he and other men were told to follow a very large, hairy man-like creature with a sad demeanour and burned arm into the forest. They stopped at several isolated rocky areas with caves, and each time they stopped, the creature would make a strange sound. Sometimes there'd be no answering call, while other times a second creature would respond with the same sound. Using this method, rescuers were able to locate some badly burned Bigfoots. They were then brought into camp for medical attention. According to the urban legend, at the end of the rescue mission there was a debriefing, during which the witnesses were told that the Bigfoot creatures lived in the forest and just wanted to be left alone. They were asked to keep quiet in order to protect the few creatures that were left behind. A supposed participant of the post-eruption rescue mission stated that his Air Force unit was sent to the Mount St. Helens area to help with the devastation. They were issued M16 and green helmets marked guard and were told to protect some of the military's medical tents to prevent unauthorized people from entering the tents. The witness said he saw doctors guiding unusually tall people or creatures wrapped in overcoats with their heads covered into the medical tents. The injured Bigfoots were always covered with clothing and bandages so their faces and hands could not be seen. It was a mystery to the men what they were guarding, but they were told that they were guarding victims of the eruption and not to ask any questions. In most versions of the story, the rescuers completed their mission and moved on without ever finding out what happened to the Bigfoots. Some accounts indicate that the beings were relocated to parts of the Cascades, while others say that the beings were given a home on a military base. In 1924, a group of miners were attacked by so-called Bigfoot in the Mount St. Helens area. Ape Canyon is a gorge along the edge of the Plains of Abraham on the southeast shoulder of Mount St. Helens. In the summer of 1924, a group of gold prospectors claimed that 7 feet tall ape-like men animals attacked them with boulders. According to their tale, they came across the animals in the wilderness, which one of the group fired a rifle at one of the animals. He apparently hit the Bigfoot 3 times and saw the wounded animal topple off a cliff into an inaccessible canyon. The ape men supposedly returned later to bombard their cabin with large stones and leave giant footprints in the area. The story caused a sensation, prompting the US Forest Service to investigate. 14-inch, 36-centimetre long footprints were found near the cabin. Despite the story being debunked by park rangers, people still wanted to believe, and the prospector's story was repeated and continued and spread later years on. Washington State has the most reported Bigfoot sightings in the United States. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, has recorded over 700 sightings in the state. In April 1969, 3 men photographed tracks that appeared to be made by someone with a 5-foot stride. Also in the summer of 1955, workers at a YMCA camp at Spirit Lake claimed to have viewed an albino Bigfoot. Back in the 1960s, there were so many Bigfoot sightings in the area, the county commissioners decided that an ordinance needed to be in place to protect the elusive creature. The Mount St. Helens area has recovered in many years since the eruption in 1980. Plants, animals and new ecosystems have returned to the slopes of the mountain. Green vegetation returned to the region in the late 1980s, and the terrain east of Spirit Lake was considerably greener in the late 1990s. Some people believe the Bigfoots have returned to Mount St. Helens. In the following video, a Bigfoot was spotted at Mount St. Helens by two hikers. The Mount St. Helens Bigfoot incident continues to inspire people today and has become an urban legend.